Let's talk about worthiness, vulnerability, and the power of showing up. If you want someone to treat you like a queen, the first step is recognizing that you are one. And I'm not talking about the fairy tale kind, draped in jewels and waiting in a tower. I mean the kind of queen who knows her own value and lives her life with courage and grace. The way we allow others to treat us often mirrors the way we treat ourselves. If you find yourself in situations where you're not being valued, pause and ask, am I valuing myself? This isn't about perfection, it's about integrity. It's about setting boundaries, standing firm in your principles, and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Queens don't beg for respect, they command it through their actions, their presence, and their refusal to shrink. Vulnerability plays a huge role here. Many of us have been taught to armor up, to hide our needs or soften our voices in the name of keeping the peace or avoiding rejection. But when we disconnect from our authenticity, we send the message that it's okay for others to do the same. True power comes from saying, this is who I am and this is what I need. It's risky, yes, but it's also the foundation of relationships built on trust and mutual respect. Here's another piece. The people in your life are watching you, learning from you how to treat you. If you lower your standards to accommodate someone else's comfort, you're teaching them that you'll tolerate less than you deserve. But when you hold your ground, when you honor your values and say no to anything that diminishes your worth, you create space for the right kind of person to step up. Being treated like a queen doesn't mean expecting perfection from others or always being the center of attention. It means being seen, respected, and cherished for who you truly are. And that starts with doing the work of seeing, respecting, and cherishing yourself. Recognizing your worth is the cornerstone of being treated with the respect, love, and dignity you deserve. It is not about waiting for someone else to validate your value, but about understanding, embracing, and embodying your intrinsic worth. Your sense of self-worth isn't something handed to you. It's something you cultivate through self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-compassion. Many people tie their worth to external factors, accomplishments, physical appearance, financial success, or the opinions of others. But these external measures are fleeting and unstable. The truth is, your worth is inherent. You are valuable simply because you exist. It's not something you earn, it's something you recognize. This recognition allows you to step into the world with confidence and authenticity, knowing that your value doesn't fluctuate based on others' judgments or external achievements. Often, our sense of worth is shaped by early experiences, societal pressures, or past relationships. If you've been told explicitly or implicitly that you're not enough, or that your value depends on certain conditions, it's easy to internalize those messages. Recognizing your worth requires rewriting that narrative. Ask yourself, what stories have I been telling myself about my value? Where did those stories come from, and do they serve me? Start replacing limiting beliefs with affirming truths. Tell yourself, I am enough. I am worthy of love, respect, and care, just as I am. Self-awareness is the first step toward recognizing your worth. Take the time to reflect on who you are, what you value, and what makes you unique. What are your strengths, passions, and qualities that set you apart? When you understand and celebrate these aspects of yourself, you build a foundation of self-esteem that no one else can shake. Being aware of your worth allows you to approach life with clarity and purpose, rather than seeking external approval. Recognizing your worth also means treating yourself with compassion. When you treat yourself with compassion, you model how you expect to be treated by others. A strong sense of self-worth empowers you to take ownership of your life. It allows you to say, I deserve the things I aspire to, and I'm willing to work for them. This doesn't mean entitlement. It means stepping into your power and claiming what's already within you. When you recognize your worth, you become less afraid to set goals, take risks, and pursue the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. You stop waiting for permission to live fully and start giving it to yourself. Part of recognizing your worth is understanding that not everyone will see it, and that's okay. What matters is that you see it. When you value yourself, you set boundaries that reflect your standards. You say no to disrespect, manipulation, or relationships that drain you. You understand that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are precious, and you protect them fiercely. Setting boundaries isn't about being defensive. It's about honoring your worth and ensuring that others do the same. And setting boundaries don't exist. It's about honoring your worth and ensuring that others do the same. When you recognize your worth, it changes the way you interact with the world. You show up differently, with confidence, grace, and a sense of assurance that doesn't rely on external validation. This shift in energy is palpable, and others will respond to it. People who value and respect you will naturally gravitate toward you, while those who don't will fall away. Recognizing your worth not only transforms your relationships, but also opens doors to opportunities that align with your highest self. Recognizing your worth is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. There will be moments when self-doubt creeps in, but the key is to return to the truth of your value. Surround yourself with people who uplift and affirm you. Engage in practices that nurture your self-esteem and remind yourself daily of your inherent worth. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, and you'll find that others begin to mirror the respect and love you've cultivated within yourself. In essence, recognizing your worth is about stepping into the fullness of who you are without apology or hesitation. It's about understanding that you are enough, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And when you live with that understanding, you create a life where being treated like a queen isn't an aspiration, it's a natural outcome of the way you carry yourself and demand to be treated. Airing boundaries is one of the most empowering acts of self-respect and self-love. It's not about putting up walls or shutting people out, but about creating a clear framework for how you deserve to be treated. Boundaries define your expectations, protect your emotional well-being, and communicate to others what is acceptable in your relationships. When you set boundaries, you reinforce your worth and teach others to honor it. Boundaries are essential for healthy, fulfilling relationships. Without them, we risk losing ourselves in the process of trying to please others. When we allow people to overstep our limits, we send the message, intentionally or not, that our needs don't matter as much as theirs. Over time, this can lead to resentment, burnout, and a lack of mutual respect. Setting boundaries is not selfish. In fact, it is one of the most selfless acts you can perform because it ensures you show up as your best self in relationships. When your emotional needs are respected, you have more energy, love, and understanding to give. Boundaries create balance, ensuring that your relationships are built on mutual respect rather than sacrifice. Start by reflecting on your values, priorities, and emotional triggers. What behaviors, situations, or dynamics make you uncomfortable? Understanding these limits is the foundation for setting clear boundaries. You can't be everything to everyone. Understanding that emerging from your authentic self leads to growth, transformance, and beautiful connection. Once you've identified your boundaries, communicate them openly and respectfully. Use I statements to express your feelings and needs, such as, I feel overwhelmed when I'm expected to handle everything alone. I need us to share responsibilities more evenly. Clear communication eliminates misunderstandings and ensures your boundaries are understood. Boundaries lose their effectiveness when they are inconsistently enforced. If you establish a boundary but fail to uphold it, others may assume it's negotiable. Consistency reinforces your seriousness and helps others understand that your limits are non-negotiable. Personality type. Saying no is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to assert your boundaries. It's okay to decline requests, invitations, or obligations that don't align with your values or priorities. Remember, every time you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to something that nurtures you. Some people may resist your boundaries, especially if they've benefited from you not having any. This resistance is not a sign to back down, but an opportunity to reaffirm your limits. Stay calm, firm, and confident, knowing that your boundaries are essential for your well-being. When you set boundaries, you create a sense of stability and safety in your relationships. People learn that they can trust you to be honest and transparent about your needs, which fosters deeper connections. Moreover, boundaries help filter out relationships that are not aligned with your values. Those who respect your boundaries will stay and thrive in your life, while those who don't will naturally fall away. When you set boundaries, you keep your health and your peace of mind, and you keep yourself safe and thrive in your life. Your willingness to set boundaries directly reflects your self-respect. When you honor your limits, you reinforce the belief that you are deserving of respect, kindness, and understanding. This inner confidence radiates outward, attracting people who value and uplift you. A person who treats you like a queen will naturally align with the boundaries you set because they recognize and respect your worth. It's important to remember that boundaries are not about control or punishment. They are acts of love for yourself and others. When you set and maintain boundaries, you create space for healthier, more respectful relationships. You're saying, I care about this relationship enough to ensure it's built on mutual respect and understanding. Setting boundaries is a lifelong practice, not a one-time event. As you grow and evolve, your boundaries may change, and that's okay. The key is to remain true to yourself and prioritize your emotional health. By doing so, you not only teach others how to treat you, but also create a life filled with respect, balance, and love. Vulnerability is often misunderstood. Many of us see it as a weakness or something to hide, a flaw that makes us less than. But the truth is, vulnerability is one of the most courageous acts we can undertake. It is the foundation of connection, trust, and authenticity. When you embrace vulnerability, you allow others to see you as you are, real, imperfect, and deeply human. And this is the essence of building relationships where respect, love, and mutual care flourish. At its core, vulnerability is about showing up. It's about being brave enough to say, this is who I am and this is what I need. For many, that sounds terrifying. Why? Because there's risk involved. What if the other person rejects you? What if they laugh, criticize, or fail to meet your needs? These are valid fears, but they're also the very reasons vulnerability is so powerful. It is an act of courage to open yourself up, even knowing the outcome isn't guaranteed. Here's the key. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing or exposing yourself to people who haven't earned your trust. It means being intentional and authentic with the right people. It's about knowing that your worth isn't tied to whether someone accepts you or not. Instead, it's rooted in your ability to show up for yourself and speak your truth. When you live from this place of authenticity, you create a space where genuine relationships can thrive. One of the biggest barriers to embracing vulnerability is the fear of rejection. Many of us have experienced moments when we've opened up and weren't met with the response we hoped for. Maybe someone dismissed our feelings or failed to acknowledge our needs. Those experiences can lead us to armor up, to build walls and hide behind them. But here's the thing. When we shield ourselves from rejection, we also shield ourselves from connection. We also shield ourselves from connection. True intimacy, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, can only grow when we allow ourselves to be seen. When you are vulnerable, you give others permission to do the same. Think about a time when someone opened up to you about their fears, dreams, or insecurities. Chances are it deepened your respect for them. It made you feel closer because you could see their humanity. The same happens when you embrace vulnerability. It builds trust, fosters empathy, and strengthens the bonds between you and the people who matter most. In relationships, vulnerability is the foundation of respect and mutual care. When you express your needs, you're not being demanding or difficult, you're being honest. For instance, if you feel undervalued or unseen, communicating that openly can lead to growth and understanding. By sharing your feelings, you set the stage for meaningful conversations that can transform relationships. You also demonstrate self-respect by refusing to ignore or suppress your emotions. It's important to remember that vulnerability isn't about controlling how others respond. You can't make someone treat you well or respect your needs, but you can control how you show up. And when you show up authentically, you send a powerful message. This is me, and I am worthy of love and respect. Vulnerability also challenges the misconception that strength means having all the answers or never showing emotion. True strength is the ability to admit when you're unsure, when you're hurting, or when you need help. It's the willingness to say, I'm scared, or I don't know, and still take the next step forward. This kind of strength inspires respect because it's grounded in honesty, not in pretending to be something you're not. When you embrace vulnerability, you begin to see a shift in how others treat you. People are drawn to authenticity. They respect those who live with integrity and courage. The more you show up as your true self, the more you attract relationships that honor and celebrate you. And those who can't meet you at that level, they naturally fall away, making room for those who can. It's also worth noting that vulnerability doesn't mean being passive or accepting mistreatment. On the contrary, it's about having the courage to confront situations where your needs aren't being met. It's saying, I value myself enough to ask for what I deserve. This kind of honesty can be uncomfortable, but it's also transformative. It sets the tone for how you expect to be treated and establishes a foundation of respect. In practical terms, embracing vulnerability might look like this. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or a colleague, speaking up about your feelings and needs can be daunting. But these conversations are essential for building trust and understanding. When you're willing to own your imperfections, you demonstrate humility and strength. It also invites others to do the same, creating an environment of mutual respect. This is a powerful act of vulnerability. It shows that you trust the people around you and value their support. This next song is called Deeper Love. Acknowledging the ways others support or care for you can feel vulnerable, but it deepens connections and strengthens relationships. Vulnerability is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be in your relationships. It's not always easy, and it doesn't always feel safe, but it's the path to connection, respect, and being treated like the queen you are. When you embrace vulnerability, you claim your power, live authentically, and open the door to relationships that honor your worth. The way we allow others to treat us is a reflection of what we teach them through our actions, attitudes, and boundaries. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we communicate what is acceptable and what isn't in every interaction we have. This isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. Recognizing the role we play in shaping the dynamics of our relationships allows us to take ownership of the respect and value we receive. At its core, teaching others how to treat us starts with clarity. Clarity about who we are, what we need, and what we're unwilling to tolerate. When we lack that clarity, it becomes easy for others to misinterpret our intentions or assume that their actions are acceptable, even when they aren't. That's why self-awareness is the foundation of setting the standard for how we are treated. When you walk into a room or into a relationship, you bring with you an unspoken set of rules about how you expect to be treated. These rules aren't communicated through words alone. They're communicated through your energy, your responses, and most importantly, your consistency. If you consistently show up for yourself, treat yourself with kindness, and hold yourself to high standards, others will notice. They'll realize that you are someone who respects herself, and they'll follow suit. On the flip side, if you allow disrespect, overlook red flags, or constantly compromise your needs, it sends a different kind of message. It says, this is okay with me. I'll accept this behavior. And while this can feel disheartening, it's also a call to action, a reminder that we can reset the dynamic at any time by changing how we show up. Boundaries are a critical part of this equation. They are not walls to keep people out. They are guidelines to let people know how to connect with you in a way that feels safe, healthy, and respectful. For example, if someone consistently cancels plans last minute and it bothers you, not addressing it teaches them that their behavior is acceptable. But if you gently yet firmly express how it affects you and make it clear you won't tolerate it moving forward, you're teaching them a different lesson. I value my time, and I expect you to as well. It's important to remember that boundaries are not just about others. They are about honoring yourself. When you stick to your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult, you reinforce your own sense of worth. And this internal reinforcement has a powerful ripple effect. People will sense your confidence and self-respect, which naturally sets the tone for how they treat you. Another vital piece of this is consistency. People are much more likely to respect your boundaries and standards when they see that you respect them too. If you set a boundary but frequently make exceptions, it creates confusion and weakens your position. For instance, if you say you won't respond to work emails after 8 p.m., but then regularly break that rule, you're signaling that the boundary isn't serious. Same principle applies to relationships. If you express that a certain behavior is unacceptable but continue to tolerate it, the other person will likely assume they don't need to change. Teaching others how to treat you also involves modeling the behavior you want to receive. If you want to be treated with kindness and respect, show kindness and respect, not only to others, but also to yourself. If you want honesty and transparency, embody those qualities in your own communication. People often mirror the energy and attitudes they encounter, so by living the standards you set, you make it easier for others to meet you there. Those are your best tools for change. If you want to be more transparent, by living the standards you set, you make it easier for others to meet you there. It's also important to acknowledge that not everyone will rise to the standards you set, and that's okay. Some people may resist or push back against your boundaries, especially if they're accustomed to you accepting less. This can be uncomfortable, but it's a sign that you're growing and stepping into your power. The right people, the ones who truly value and respect you, will see your boundaries not as a threat, but as an opportunity to deepen their relationship. They'll appreciate the clarity and honesty you bring to the table. At times, resetting how others treat you may involve tough decisions. It might mean stepping away from relationships or situations where your boundaries are consistently violated. While this can be painful, it's also a profound act of self-love. By walking away from what diminishes you, you make room for relationships and experiences that uplift and honor you. Remember that teaching others how to treat you is a lifelong process. It's not something you do once and forget about. As you grow and evolve, your needs and boundaries may change, and that's okay. What matters is that you remain committed to honoring yourself and showing up in a way that aligns with your values. In every interaction, you are teaching the world who you are and what you deserve. By acting with clarity, consistency, and courage, you set the standard for being treated with the respect and care you deserve. And when others learn to meet you at that level, it's not just about you being treated like a queen. It's about building relationships that are worthy of your throne. The journey to being treated like a queen starts with honoring yourself first. It's not about waiting for someone to recognize your worth. It's about living your life in a way that reflects the value you already hold. When you truly honor yourself, you set the tone for how others will treat you. This process begins with a deep commitment to self-awareness, self-respect, and self-love. To honor yourself means to acknowledge and embrace who you are at your core. It involves recognizing your strengths, your talents, and even your flaws, and accepting them as part of your unique identity. It's about quieting the voice of self-doubt and replacing it with a narrative of compassion and affirmation. You are not defined by your mistakes or shortcomings, but by your resilience and ability to grow. Honor yourself and accepting them as part of your unique identity. When you honor yourself, you understand that your worth isn't tied to external achievements or the validation of others. It's inherent. Self-respect is a cornerstone of this process. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract respect from others. Self-respect manifests in your decisions, actions, and the boundaries you set. It's about saying no when something doesn't align with your values, even if it's difficult. It's about choosing relationships, environments, and activities that nurture your well-being rather than deplete it. Honoring yourself means prioritizing what is good for your soul, not just what is easy or convenient. Practicing self-love is also integral to honoring yourself. Many people struggle with the idea of self-love, mistaking it for arrogance or selfishness. But self-love is neither. It's the foundation of a healthy relationship with yourself and, by extension, with others. When you love yourself, you treat yourself with kindness and care. You forgive yourself when you fall short and celebrate your victories, big and small. Self-love allows you to show up authentically in the world, unburdened by the need for constant approval. One of the most powerful ways to honor yourself is to listen to your inner voice and trust your intuition. Too often, people ignore their instincts in favor of external advice or societal expectations. But your inner voice knows what you need, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. Honoring yourself means trusting that voice, even if it leads you to make unconventional choices or stand alone in your convictions. Deep inside you, honoring yourself also involves recognizing and meeting your own needs. Far too often, people, especially women, are conditioned to put everyone else's needs ahead of their own. While caring for others is important, neglecting yourself in the process does not serve anyone in the long run. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Honoring yourself means prioritizing your physical, emotional, and mental well-being, unapologetically. It's about carving out time for rest, reflection, and activities that bring you joy. Honoring yourself includes being mindful of your self-talk. The words you speak to yourself matter. They shape your mindset, your confidence, and your energy. If you constantly criticize yourself, you undermine your own sense of worth. Instead, practice affirmations that uplift you. Replace self-doubt with self-belief. Speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer a loved one. In honoring yourself, you also learn the art of gratitude. Gratitude for your journey, for the lessons you've learned, and for the person you've become. Gratitude allows you to focus on abundance rather than lack. It shifts your perspective, helping you see the beauty in your life and reinforcing the belief that you are deserving of good things. When you honor yourself first, you radiate confidence and authenticity. This energy is magnetic, drawing in people who see and appreciate your value. You'll find that the right kind of relationships, those rooted in mutual respect, trust, and love, begin to flourish naturally. People are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin, who know their worth, and who treat themselves with care. Honoring yourself is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong practice. There will be days when it feels easier and days when it feels like a struggle. The key is to remain committed to the process. Keep showing up for yourself, even when it's hard. Keep reminding yourself that you are worthy, even when the world tries to make you feel otherwise. When you honor yourself first, you create a strong foundation for the kind of treatment you desire from others. You demonstrate through your actions and attitude that you are deserving of respect, kindness, and love. And when you carry yourself with that sense of self-honor, others have no choice but to follow suit. In the pursuit of being treated like a queen, it's essential to understand the distinction between seeking quality in relationships and expecting perfection. Instead, the focus should be on building relationships that are rich in respect, empathy, and authenticity. When you demand perfection, you might find yourself constantly disappointed because no one is perfect. People are beautifully imperfect beings, capable of growth and change, but also prone to mistakes. If you set the bar at unattainable heights, you might overlook the genuine efforts and qualities that truly define someone's character. Perfectionism can create walls rather than bridges, making it difficult for others to connect with you on a meaningful level. Seeking quality, on the other hand, shifts the focus from flawless behavior to meaningful effort. Quality relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared values. It's about finding someone who is willing to put in the effort, learn, and grow alongside you. A person who truly values you will prioritize understanding your needs, showing up with consistency, and communicating with honesty even when it's uncomfortable or challenging. Being treated like a queen doesn't mean someone caters to your every whim or agrees with everything you say. It means they value your presence and actively work to create a relationship where you feel safe, cherished, and respected. They don't have to be perfect, but they should be committed to honoring you as a person and showing their care through their actions. In these high-quality relationships, flaws are not deal breakers, but opportunities for growth. Misunderstandings and disagreements are inevitable, but they are met with patience, kindness, and a willingness to resolve issues together. This is what separates quality connections from superficial ones: the ability to navigate imperfections without undermining the foundation of respect and trust. To seek quality, you must also show up with authenticity. A high-quality relationship is a two-way street, requiring you to bring your whole self to the table. This includes your strengths, vulnerabilities, and imperfections. By being open and real, you create an environment where others feel safe to do the same. It's in this shared authenticity that deep and meaningful connections can thrive. Additionally, quality relationships honor individuality. A partner who treats you like a queen recognizes your unique strengths and supports your growth. They don't try to mold you into someone you're not or demand that you shrink to fit their preferences. Instead, they celebrate your authenticity and encourage you to step fully into your power. Obnoxiously fair, I know, but consider this. This book is filled with over 100 love stories by these amazing women who have freedom. It's also important to remember that seeking quality means prioritizing compatibility over superficial traits. A high-quality relationship isn't about grand gestures or flashy displays of affection. It's about consistent, genuine actions that reflect care and respect. Understand that seeking quality begins with yourself. When you hold yourself to a standard of authenticity, kindness, and self-respect, you naturally attract relationships that reflect those qualities. By treating yourself with care and valuing your own worth, you set the tone for how others will treat you. In the end, being treated like a queen isn't about creating a fantasy where someone always meets your every expectation. It's about building a partnership grounded in love, respect, and mutual growth. Quality relationships honor the essence of who you are while providing the space for both partners to evolve. When you let go of the need for perfection and instead seek quality, you open yourself to the kind of love that truly lasts. One where you are celebrated as the queen you are in all your beautiful, imperfect glory.